Hey.
Word on the street, word on the street. Talk politics, current events, relationships, movies and flicks. Word on the street, word on the street. Word on the street is we be staying on topic with sports news and the movies. Anything that just happened. Special guests with that Drake Swift, Savage Kitty and Alex, aka the Sports Mouth. Storytelling what's happening. Chop it up with you Saturdays. No better way to start your day. Kick it with you on Mondays in case you really got something to say. If not, we'll catch you on Wednesday. Put the spotlight up to your face. Yeah, you know how we get down. Tell them tune in or get out the way.
Good morning.
Tell them what to say.
It's Saturday. Oh my God, it is almost February.
Good morning.
Good morning. So it's February.
I can't believe that.
It's February on Tuesday.
Fuck, where did January go? I literally feel like it's June already. It's just flying by as usual.
You know,
crazy.
Telling me that you got a pretty hectic schedule in the next 6 months. You're like, I'm going to be busy till like August.
I am. It's so fucked up. I'm literally going over my schedule and I'm like, oh my God, I literally have an event or something, a trip, going out of town from now till August every month.
So did
several
you
times.
Your boss you need all this time off?
What'd you say?
You tell your boss you need all this time off?
Well, I'm kind of my own boss, so that was okay. But I just picked up another big girl job. So they're pretty flexible though. It's in the social work realm. And I'm grateful that I can able to do that because this whole social, this job thing is getting in the way of my social life.
Oh my God.
But it's not even that. Like I have I'm always the bridesmaid, never a bride. I'm in everybody's wedding. So I have to do bridal stuff, but everything is out of town. So I'll be coming to the D, folks. I'm coming to the D a couple times from now till August. And I'm excited about that. The snow will be gone by then.
Yeah, so I mean, you seem pretty busy. It's difficult. I know I was thinking to myself, like, I recently switched jobs and, my other job sucked. It was only 2 weeks. You only could take 2 weeks. The new job is like, I was like, hey, what I got to do with my time off? And he's like, oh, just let me know whenever you need time off. I don't care.
Nice. That's so awesome.
Like, okay. He's like, as long as you're hitting your numbers, I don't give a fuck what you do.
That's dope.
Right. I was like, oh, yeah. That's cool.
That's how my my new boss is. He's like, I'm really big on self-care. So whatever you need to do. I'm like, I like it. I like it. Hey, everyone in the chat. Hang on. We got to say hello. Good morning, everyone in the chat. Thanks for tuning in today. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. So you got Valentine's coming up in less than, I guess, 2.5 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is on your wish list for Valentine's Day? Just in case your boyfriend is listening.
I don't know. Just in case my boyfriend's listening, I don't really have a list. I like beauty stuff, right? So probably something to do with my looks. I don't know. I know that sounded shallow as fuck, but I don't care. I really have everything I need. So it's not like I'm like, oh, I gotta have this or I gotta have that. Just maybe something I've been wanting. I don't know. I have to think. You put me on the spot.
No
now,
sex.
Damn it. Now my boyfriend, what'd you say?
No sex toys. None of the dildo that sticks to the glass or, none of that stuff.
I got enough of those. A dildo that sticks to the glass. I'm not tall enough to reach any of the windows in my house. So that would be awkward. What glass would I stick it to? The front door?
Yeah.
The neighbors will like that.
Yeah.
It'd be a good video.
So recently, the Karen on the block, she moved the fuck out. So I was
Oh,
happy for her.
Karen moved. That's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. She's
Hopefully you don't get her aunt Linda or Mega Karen.
mega Karen. Yeah,
Fucking Mega Karen.
I know we just met, but I'm moving out. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's
Well,
nice.
I said, well, I said, I would say it's been a pleasure, but it hasn't. So see you later.
All right, bye, bitch. She was a total Karen. She was a total fucking Karen. You know what's crazy too is she was young, right? She was young, right? So
Yeah.
I didn't even know how you become a Karen at such a young age. Like, who trained you? I'd hate to meet her mother. Mm.
So,
Oh wait, hey, real
yeah,
quick. Um, Back to Valentine's Day. All
yeah.
y'all with matching fucking Christmas pajamas. I better see some shit for Valentine's Day. Don't let me see that you broke up. You did all that extra work and energy and did the pictures and the matching and all of that. You better keep that same fucking energy for February because it's only been like 6 weeks. So, okay. I just had to put that PSA out there.
So, I'll tell you a story. Before there was a word, right, Karen, like the spy or the busybody. So I used to, we still live in the same house, or we still own the same house in Southwest Detroit, right on North Campbell, off of Michigan in North Campbell. So it was a Polish neighborhood. It was the Kramer district. We had the Kramer Theater, the Kramer Meat Market, whatever. So it was when we moved on, we were like the only Mexicans that lived on the block. So there was a lot of old Polish ladies. So I was very, very mischievous. So
you were bad. You can say you were bad. It's okay.
And I remember I pissed on the neighbor's tree, and there's no cell phones, right? This is possibly the 70s, maybe not. Yeah, the 70s, I would say. I pissed on the neighbor's tree, and I got home, and my mom says, why did you pee on the tree? The neighbor just called me. So I was like, wow. Did you ever have those old ladies live on the block that would call your mom and say, do you know what your daughter did?
So growing up, my grandmother both my grandmothers owned almost all the houses on our block. So everybody in our section of the street were either family members or like longtime life friends. So I couldn't fucking do a damn thing without the entire crew knowing, like all 20 houses knew what I did because we were all family. So the good thing about it is someone was always cooking, right? You could always have dinner somewhere at someone's house. But the bad thing is that you really couldn't get away with fucking anything. You had to like take it to the next block or try to like do it in the alley or, be bad as fuck away from the house. And it didn't really go too well for me. All those people were allowed to smack me up. So I tried to really be careful on what I did because my mom gave them all permission to hit me. Like it was like a thing. Like you see your kid fucking up. Oh, that's so-and-so's kid. That's my cousin's cousin. But bust her ass. So it's like, oh, great.
Parents used to give the permission to someone. Hey, you know what? If he gets out of line, smack them the fuck up. So this is the phone that probably had, calling and saying I pissed on the tree.
Yes, I'm fine. Mrs. Schwartz, do you know what Ralph just said? No. He said, yes, that. Do you know where he heard it? No, he heard it from your son.
That sounds like a phone call that the laborers called, right? He pissed on a tree. What? And then, all right.
My bestie just chimed in the chat since she says true story. She knows. She knows. We couldn't even look sideways without getting fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that whole Italian street.
Like, as my daughter, she's I don't even know, whatever generation, whatever, X, Trex, Z, Y, I don't know what generation.
Transformer.
Yeah, Transformer. My daughter, And I remember, when she was 7 or 8, she's like, if you hit me, I will call the cops. Like my mom would, basically say, I brought you into this world. I'll take you out. So from that generation, we're talking 40 years or whatever the case may be, right? How much society has changed, because you would tell your aunt, your neighbor, anybody, right? Yeah, if my kid gets out of line, smack him the fuck up.
Smack him the fuck up.
You got my permission.
You know, the time that I told my mother I would call the police, I thought I was brave. Oh, did I learn my lesson? Not only would I got brave to say, I'll call the cops. She beat me with the phone and then called the cops for me. She said, I'll fucking call them for you. You want to call the cops? Whack, whack. I got hit with the receiver because this was a wall phone, right? That's how old I am. A wall phone. And then she dialed it herself and said, here, they're on the phone. You want to fucking talk to them? I'm like, no, I'm fine. Right? So I didn't do that again. That was a really big mistake.
My sister said, because they're I think my oldest sister is about 6 years older than me, and then I have a 10 sister that's 10 years old. They had it rough. So I guess once I was born, my mom kind of eaten up. But yeah, my mom slapped them up and everything, and
they seasoned her for you.
Yeah, and then when my brother was born, it was like she, it was totally different. So
yeah, she was seasoned.
Yeah.
My mom said, I'm listening. And exactly, Mom. I'm not, I tell no lies. I tell no lies. You had to think twice about what you threatened, okay? Because it's a whole different day back then. Kids these days need to get whooped up. I was the scapegoat. I seasoned her. The oldest child always seasons for the youngest. It is what it is.
Anna, she tells a lot of crazy stories. It makes it says she has certain memories, and then I guess she was doing math or something, and my mom was like, getting mad at her and maybe twisted her finger the wrong way, and they went to the hospital, and she said, Mom, my finger, and she told the doctor,
right.
Down the stairs, shut up.
Oh boy, that's funny.
Call in if you want to tell the story. It's up to you. Come
on, Anna, call in.
I'm here at work. She's there at work. Call in. Let's hear your crazy.
She's at work. You know what though? I think when we're kids, us in general, there's a lot of things that happen, but all kids tend to exaggerate a little bit, right?
Right.
They're like, they're like, oh, I got hurt. I hurt my finger. My mom kicked me down the stairs. You're like, that's not what happened. Stop lying.
My sister is definitely disconnected from different stories as a child, because I asked my oldest, but that definitely didn't happen. Your sister is delusional.
Hey, it happened in her world. It happened. So she just said in the comments, she did. That did happen. I believe you, Anna. I believe you. We got to stick together on this.
Yeah, that's funny.
Shout out to everybody in the chats today. We got a nice flow today. Yeah. She said they were not there. They're lying and they were not there.
Yeah, they were not there.
It's funny.
If it's true or not, because sometimes she just says some things and I'm like, that definitely didn't happen. Yeah. It was like, I time traveled, and I was like, oh no, it definitely didn't happen. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, I know my shit happened. And listen, I know my shit happened, and I probably deserved a good 70% of it.
My sister said, that, my older sister, Linda, she said, yeah, my mom was definitely tough on the first two. And then Anna, it was a little easier. And then, when I got to me, it was easier. And then my brother was like a cake. But
your brother was a cakewalk.
Cakewalk, yeah. Yeah, but they tell me stories that since Anna was younger, they would get in trouble. Did you get that? Did you get in trouble if something your sister did?
Oh yeah, I was the oldest. I'm supposed to be the most responsible one. I'm in charge. I
Yeah.
knew better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My sister, my sister Linda and Mona Lisa used to always say, "Yeah, Anna was always getting in trouble, and we used to get blamed for it. Oh my God!" And she would be like, "It wasn't me."
I think both vice versa, right? The oldest child's going to blame the youngest, and the youngest is going to be like, "I'm telling," right? I had a cousin she was the youngest, and she would hit, right? She would hit her older brothers, and then they would get in trouble, and she'd be like behind them, ha ha.
Yeah.
And of course, the youngest always got believed. So I think it's what comes with it, you know.
Yeah.
The poor middle child.
Well, so I was thinking to myself, like, you were ones and twosies, and my sisters were threes. But I can imagine if someone had like, 7 or 8 around that same age bracket, like you're apart or something like that. I'm like, oh my God,
they click up. They click up. I have a friend who has seven kids, and you see certain ones click together. But when it's time to hand out ass whoopings, they all get it. So I don't think anybody's safe from that. Yeah, but it's funny to see which ones click up together. And then like there's one that just kind of stays. She's like, I'm staying away from all the dogs.
If not, my uncle, he was bad or something, and my grandmother, she, before you wouldn't even get a belt, you would get go outside and grab a tree branch and start
a switch, yeah,
and start smacking the shit out of them, and then
or an extension cord.
Yeah, or my grandmother was whipping them and or whatever. So she started whipping my mom, and my mom wouldn't cry, right? So and then she goes, okay. She's telling her in Spanish, okay, I'm gonna whip your brother, and if you until you start crying, because my mom was like, taking it, right?
Tough, right?
Tough. So she wouldn't cry, so she started whipping my uncle, and my uncle said, please, Janie, cry for me, please, because she's and
she wouldn't cry.
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna beat your brother until you start crying. She said, please.
Your mom was tough. She's like, I'm not crying. You ain't breaking me. You ain't breaking me.
Yeah. Did your mom ever hit you and you were just like not crying?
I don't think so. I think I cried every time.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there might have been a few, but the cries outweighed the non-cries.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All
yeah,
right.
my mom had a favorite paddle.
Yeah, it had
a rope on it.
It's so bad because you hear so many stories. You know what? Go get my belt. When you got to go get the weapon that's going to beat you, go get my belt.
She had a paddle, and it had a rope, right? So she put her hand through the rope in case she dropped the paddle. She could swing back around and grab it again, right? There was a whole system to it. And I used to hide the paddle. I would find it and hide it.
That's bad when you got to go get the weapon that's going to beat you, right?
Mm-hmm. It is.
The shit that fucked me up? That's not even fair. Right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I finally see Scream. I definitely think that I could have waited to stream it. There was nothing to write home to mom about. I can't even remember Scream. I don't know which one is this. Was that 4 or 5? I can't even remember.
5?
I don't know. But to be honest with you, I can't remember the last one.
Yeah, me neither.
What's 5? 5 in the series
5.
Scream. So
yeah,
I don't remember the last one. I don't even know when it was done. I can't even tell you. But it wasn't that great. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, it was okay.
Have you seen it?
Huh?
Have you seen it?
I did see it. I jumped a few times, right? And there was a couple things in it that were, a little gory, where I was like, oh, that was a juicy kill. But it wasn't like That wasn't the best. I'm really good at predicting movies like that. So I'm like, he's the killer. It's him. Yep, he's shady. It's him. This is the one. So, we could have waited.
You waited.
What's Shannon say in the comments? Girl, we're Italian. It was the wooden spoon or those plastic stir things with the holes. Oh, yeah, girl, right to the back of the thigh. Smack on the forehead and then play. How about the wooden spoons that hung on your wall? Remember the wooden spoons, the decorative spoon with the hole in it? Do you remember those? Yeah, they were big. They were like this. They were like this big, right? They were pretty long, like 2 ruler lengths. They pull that bitch right off the wall and hit you with it.
Hit you.
Yeah.
So as I was watching the stream, I was like, man, Courtney Cox got old. I don't know if she was. I thought she was pretty, but I was so hot for Nev Campbell, but man, she got old too. I was like, these bitches got old. Then I was like, damn.
What do you expect them to do? Not age?
I said no, but that makes me old.
I was just gonna say that. That means you're old.
No, was born. Actually, she's born 2 days after me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I was like, man, I used to think she was hot, but I was like, I don't know about now.
I thought they looked good. You didn't think they looked good? No.
I don't know. I thought she looked old, but
I thought they looked good for their age.
They look good for their age, and then
they aged gracefully for sure.
How old is Courtney Cox? She's like I think she's like way older, maybe 10 years older than me. I don't know.
10? She's not in her 60s.
No?
50s, late 50s. No.
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 I think, like I said, I thought she looked, she was, she got long in the tooth, I think.
She what?
Long in the tooth.
A long tooth?
No, long in the tooth.
Oh, long in the tooth. I said a long tooth. What's that?
She got long in the tooth, I thought. She's 57. Yeah, see?
She's 57, and you don't think she looks good for 57? She looked great.
She
looks great. Yeah, she had work done on her face. I mean, Botox and her lip injections and all that, right? She's a celebrity, so that's the norm. I thought she looked great for 57. She's almost 60 years old. You can't listen. Yep. She's not going to be like the fountain of youth for her entire life.
Yeah, I told you she got long in the tooth.
I think she looks great, regardless of the work she had done. I'm all about getting some work done. Fuck, inject me, make pump me, stump me, inject me, flip me, rub it out.
She got long in the tooth. Yep. Yeah, 57. See, I knew she was a lot older. You were. What were you thinking that she was?
Maybe early 50s.
I thought David Arquette looks good, and he's he's 2 years older than me, so he's 50.
He looked great too, and he let all his grays in his beard grow in. I thought he looked very distinguished. He looked good.
Yeah.
I think they both looked great. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You're just afraid to get old, huh?
Afraid to get old, yeah. I was.
They look good.
I was thinking about the story that Eddie told us that he ran into David Arquette at Comic-Con. He was like all dressed up in an Adidas outfit with his kid.
He looks like he'd be cool as fuck to hang out with.
Yeah.
He seems like a cool celebrity we could be friends with. David, call us.
David, call us. Yeah. He used to call into the Stern show all the time.
Did he?
Yeah, he used to be. He's a big Stern fan.
Yeah, I like him. He's funny.
Yeah.
He's good. Yeah, I think he looked great.
Yeah.
I was digging it.
You're digging it. I can't, I was watching a preview from last night from Batman. I can't wait for Batman to come out. There's so many movies that I can't wait for them to come out. Batman was one of them.
That Jackass movie looks good. The new Jackass.
Yeah, the new Jackass looked funny.
Yeah,
What
looks
is the
pretty funny.
character that got kicked off that had the drug problems?
Of course, you're gonna trivia me right now, and I can see his face. I'll tell you right now.
I have his name in my head and I cannot fucking think of it.
I have his face in my head.
Something.
Bam, 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 bam. It's Bam. I haven't even pulled up the thing yet. Bam Majera. I know it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
He wasn't. He's not in the new one because I thought he was.
Yep. Bam Margera. Hmm. Yeah, and he claims that Jackass caused his addictions and drug use issues. He said he had no issues with addiction or drug use until he became involved with the franchise. And that very well may be in general. You're hanging out with these guys, they're doing drugs, they're partying, you're living the rock star, movie star life, right? But again, Bam, accountability. We all have choices, and no one like poured the cocaine in your nose, right? I highly doubt that happened. I'm sure they offered it to you and you were like, sure, why not? So again, we all have choices, and maybe yours were just easier to access, but we all have the choice to say no. And in a rebuttal of that, Steve-O was the biggest drug addict drunk on the show, right? Like he was so out of control that like people didn't even like him anymore. They were like, he's just a complete fucking asshole. And he did a complete turnaround. Sober, he is doing charity events. I don't know if you follow him ever, but he found this stray dog and literally after meeting the stray dog took this dog as his child, right? And has now raised over like $600,000 for the dog rescue, and has put all this money into saving animals. Like he's done a complete 180. So for him to say it's their fault, I think he's just not being accountable for his actions, and stop blaming and finger pointing and just man up and change your behaviors.
Right.
Yeah, no one's forcing you.
Shannon commented, said, Top Gun. When is Top Gun 2 coming out? I mean, I don't know if I want to see that movie anyways, because sometimes I just don't think they should remake things. When is that motherfucking movie coming out? Oh, it says May 27. Wow. That's a long time.
So I just pulled up an article about Bam Margera.
Bam Margera.
He said the beginning of his issues with addiction and drug use were from Jackass, and that his dependence on Adderall and painkillers were the result of his performances and stunts. He is now suing for his firing, right? They fired him because he's just being a complete asshole, which I don't know if you've ever watched his show with the stunts. He's a dick. Like, it's not like it's just some like nice guy. Like he's pretty much a dick, and he does things like, obviously they're Jackass, right?
Didn't he date a celebrity or something?
No, he's married, or he was married to, like, she's hot. But he is suing. He said he's claimed he claims he's owed millions, and he put the figure that he's owed at $9.65 million. He says it is unfair to allow them to use my ideas without compensating me for them. And I did not have any issues with it before I began my involvement with them.
There you go.
There you go.
Bam.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into the show. We'll jump into politics. Biden says he will move to Eastern Europe to top general warns horrific outcome if Russia invades Ukraine. I think we've talked about the story so many different times. I just think, to be honest with you, I just think there's so much going on in the world that we just need to stay out of people's business.
We do.
I
We're doing too much.
I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. We just need to fucking hold off and stay,
So
like you said, stay out of people's business.
what if we stay out of Ukraine? What if we stay out of this? What is it going to do? What I mean, is it going to make Russia more powerful? I'm like, I don't get it. I wish I had somebody that would kind of tell me what would be the negative effect if we allow them to just do whatever they want to do. That's fucking across the world. Why are we involved? That's all I say.
Hmm.
Gun violence is killing more children. The pandemic may play a role. During the past week, the country has seen grim death toll of children under the age of 12 killing with guns. Grace, 6-month-old, was killed in a drive-by shooting in Atlanta Monday. The same day, Grace Elliott, 10, was allegedly killed by his father. Her father in Somerville, Ohio, was a local sheriff described as a murder-suicide. It also claimed the life of her older brother. On January 2nd, an unnamed 4-year-old in Port Street, Florida, was allegedly killed by a woman in another murder-suicide. On the same week, Melissa Ortega, 8-year-old, was finally shot. Her death was shaken in Chicago. You knew this was going to come during the pandemic. There's going to be a lot of suicides. There's going to be a lot of people that are looking for outs. And then, I don't know if, once again, I'm the big person. I have many guns. I don't think guns cause death. It's people causing death.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of, we talked about this before many, many times. This pandemic has thrown a lot of people into mental illness, or there's things that, you don't see people and you're depressed and you don't have a job and you can't pay your bills. People do crazy things when they can't control what's going on in the world. So this pandemic is definitely really bad. I would like to see in 5 or 6 years, once we get out of this, that they look back and be like, oh my God, this was a terrible time in our country. So
Absolutely. I mean, if you really want to call it, we're in a mental health pandemic. If you really think about it, we are in grave danger more than we ever have been. There's so many things, like you said, you don't have a job, or this happened, you got sick, you're behind on all your bills. And there are so many people that are just ready to give up, and add that on to all the other stresses that were going on prior to these things. And so it's sad. It's sad. The world really needs some help, some therapy, some programs at their fingertips. I think it's an epidemic. It's a nationwide epidemic that needs to be addressed more. It's scary. And that's why I always say, even prior to this, I would say it, but even more so now, be kind to one another. You don't know what kind of morning that person had. You don't know what's going on in their life. You don't know if they just dealt with a death or an eviction or a job loss, or, there's a lot of physical abuse going on too, because that's another way people lash out, and they physically, verbally, mentally abuse the people in their home. You don't know what that person is going through. If they're having a bad day, let them have the parking spot, right? Hold the door open for them. Give a random compliment. You don't know what that compliment of telling somebody, hey, I like your hair, did for their entire day. They could have maybe been feeling like the biggest piece of shit in the world, or just so sad. And then you give them this nice little gesture of kindness, and it just snaps them out of it even if for a moment. You never know what the person next to you is going through. So it's, and then you think further, what about the people that are in the hospitals, right? And, I look at my experiences, and there was many times that my child was in ICU and I had to go to work. So I didn't lose the home that we have to come back to. And there would be many people that would go, after they found out, they're like, I didn't know you were going through all of that. Well, not everybody wears that as a badge, right? You sometimes you got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and get things done and hold it all in. And people will be like, wait, what's happening in your life? Oh my God, I didn't know. Just because you don't know doesn't mean you can't be kind to one another. You just think about it. There's way more than what you see on the surface.
Right. Okay. So what's the next story? White House confirms, the Supreme Justice just stepped down, retired. There are about, it looks like 7 people that had their names been dropped. Michelle Childs, Keneal Brown Jackson. Man, there's so many different people that they're trying to consider. And it looks like they're going to be African American that they're considering for the Supreme Court Justice.
Good.
So they're trying to get somebody in there.
I think that's great. I think that's a great move.
Great move.
Great move, and it's long overdue.
So Chris Brown, I know you talked about this the other day, was sued. Jane Doe claims she was drugged, raped during the Miami yacht party. This boy is a mess.
He's a mess. There's always something circulate around him. And, with his background and his track record, it's really hard to turn a cheek. There are some inconsistencies in the story that I read that aren't really sitting well with me, though. You got this girl who said she was drugged and raped in Miami on a yacht at a party, right? Okay. Not saying it didn't happen, but there are reports of this girl meeting with him several times throughout the year, because this happened like at the beginning of, I want to say 2020. Don't quote me. I have to pull the story back up. But there was almost a whole year span that she was still seeing him, right? Hotel rooms, met up with him whenever he was in town. Yeah. So if you were drugged and raped on a yacht, why are you still going to see him? Why are you still going? Are you getting paid? Which that's a normal thing for celebrities to pay groupies and, girls to come to their room, hang out, do whatever, right? So were you taking money and just figured you weren't compensated enough? Did this happen? Why would you still go? That's where I'm missing the disconnect on, was it really rape? Were you really drugged? Because I know if I was drugged and raped, the last place I would be returning is to my abuser, to the person who did that to me. And I don't care how I got there, right? We could have went there. We could already had sex before or hung out, right? I've hung out with a lot of celebrities, and especially like athletes, right? If one of them did that to me, I wouldn't be kicking it with the crew anymore. Like at all. That doesn't make any sense to me. So there's something more to this story. I'm not saying that he didn't abuse her. Maybe he did. Maybe she's just too stupid. Oh, and you know what else doesn't sit well with me? You went straight to a lawsuit and not the police. Yeah. What about filing charges and all of that? You went right to lawsuit?
Lawsuit?
You didn't go to the police?
You know how much you get for a slip and a fall?
Yeah, the 20's a 20, I guess,
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, listen, he a whole fucking mess, right? We already know. We've seen what happened with Rihanna. We see he don't give a fuck. He feels he's above all. But I feel like this girl had a play in whatever happened to her, she's claiming. Because there's just some things that happen after that for almost a year. Like, I think there should be a stipulation. And I know this sounds fucked up, and I'm probably going to get some backlash about women's rights and all this. Hey, I am all for women standing up for themselves and saying, not me, this is wrong. But where's your accountability in the her who kept going to see him. They weren't like boyfriend and girlfriend. He didn't have like some mind control over her. She was a groupie who went and did her own thing. So that doesn't, I don't know. Something smells fishy.
Fishy.
Yeah, it's not sitting well with me.
Not the Detroit River. So
it is. It smells like the Detroit River. And don't none of y'all come for me in my inbox talking about women should have rights. If somebody rapes them, tell them. I didn't say that. That's not what I said.
There you go.
You know, I got tiger blood, man.
So Tiger King star Joe Exotic resentenced to 21 years in prison for a higher case. So he's going back to prison. Tiger.
Let Joe go. Just let Joe go already. I know he wasn't the best guy, but he was the shit. And I really think that they just did him wrong, and he had a lot of bad mishaps, and he had to do what he had to do.
Tiger.
I have a shirt that says Joe Exotic for president.
Fucking Joe Exotic.
I always wanted it. Listen, every time I watch it, me and Dom would watch the show, and we're like, dude, we got to hook him up with Richard. That's my gay cousin. We always thought like they would just be the best couple ever. It'd be fucking wild.
Tiger.
I love him.
There you go.
You know, I got tiger blood, man.
So
Free Joe. Free Joe Exotic. Justice for Joe Exotic.
Justice.
Hashtag it, folks.
So Fight Club was just, I guess they edited the ending of Fight Club, and the bad guy doesn't get to ride off into the sunset in China. And originally the guy that wrote the book said that's exactly the way the book was. So, you know,
wow. Rule number 1, we don't talk about Fight Club.
Yeah, so China's censor stuff that comes from the U.S. And here you go.
You know, you take a book like yours that turns into this incredible movie, and you know, in a way, when the government does something like this, to me, it speaks poorly of the government, and it would seem to me a lot of people in China know that, because it can't be a shock to them when they see things censored like this. So to me, it seems like by trying to change it, they're not doing themselves any favors.
You know, what I find really interesting is that my books are heavily banned throughout the US. The Texas prison system refuses to carry my books in its libraries. A lot of public schools and most private schools refuse to carry my books. But it's only an issue once China changes the end of a movie. No, I've been putting up with book banning for a long time.
What's worse, banning the book entirely or changing the story?
Well, the irony is that the way the Chinese have changed it, they've aligned the ending almost exactly with the ending of the book, as opposed to Fincher's ending, which was the more spectacular visual ending. So in a way, the Chinese brought the movie back to the book a little bit.
Oh, so they probably feel justified. They're like, oh, no, we just
actually, you know, you may be right. Is that possible?
So that's kind of crazy that they changed the movie, but I definitely would like to see the Chinese version. Because you know, I love Fight Club. I thought it was an awesome movie. So.
Yeah, it was a great movie. I definitely like to see the Chinese version. That's funny though. He said, well, actually, they switched it to align with how it was supposed to be. So joke's on them.
So in Pittsburgh news, a bridge collapse, surreal scene as cars plummet to the ground. This was yesterday. A bridge completely collapsed in Pittsburgh Friday, sending cars plummeting to the earth below. Some people said it looked like a movie.
That's the craziest shit. Every time I go on a big bridge, I have that anxiety. Like, I hope this thing is sound. You feel it swaying and fuck. Oh my goodness. That is
all fucking scary. Bridge collapse.
If there was any fatalities.
Let me see.
Wow. That's crazy.
It's
Where was this at?
Pittsburgh. 10 people were injured. 3 people were taken to the hospital. Not life-threatening injuries.
Oh, good.
This caused a natural gas leak. Precaution people in nearby homes were evacuated. They were able to contain the leak. So,
Mm.
there you
Yeah,
go.
there's a lot of bridges in Michigan. And I'm like, ooh, this motherfucker swaying. Plus, that's a lot of places people, bridges just give me an uneasy feeling. In Michigan, I know there's a high rate of suicide on bridges and stuff. So you could go over a bridge and I'm like, oh, this is
I'll tell you a funny story. Her under the bus. So my sister has super anxiety, Adriana, and she won't go over certain bridges. She'll take the long way around. I'm like, really? Yeah, so she won't go over there's a bridge that goes from the 101 to the 10, the one going eastbound. She'll off on McDowell, go down McDowell, get back on the freeway, and I'm like,
oh, really? See, I'm okay with the freeway stuff like that. It's more of a bridge over a body of water that I'm like, oh, fuck. Right? Like a body of water or like a valley or something that's like really, really open, more water than anything.
Well, have you ever been on the Mackinac Bridge when that motherfucker is swaying?
Ooh, yes.
That motherfucker is kind of scary, to be honest.
Scary as shit. The whole time I'm thinking, are these bolts?
You feel it fucking moving.
You feel it. Have you ever seen the videos of it moving?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, are these bolts going to be okay? Like, this is really swaying. What's holding us up here? And are they worn out from doing this often? I start rolling with all of my thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say a lot of people have jumped from that bridge. It's like the number 1 in Michigan. That's scary shit.
So
your sister's watching. She saw you. She called you out just now.
So favorite Alaskan governor, Sarah Palin.
Oh yeah, that's my girl. That's my girl.
COVID schmovit, she says. Let's eat. So officially, City Hall tells us that
sounds like something she would say.
Apparently, the one who self-isolated, who tested positive, Sarah Palin, doesn't apply to everyone. At least that's what Sarah Palin seems to think. So she was out with her New York Ranger Ron to go on Wednesday, and she just tested positive 2 days prior. So she
so she was just endangering people.
She said no mask, no vaccine, COVID schmovit out in New York.
She's a fucking asshole. She's such an asshole.
She said COVID schmovit, let's eat.
I'd be so pissed if she came in my restaurant trying to infect me.
Right.
Like, how ignorant are you? Like, you tested positive, so now you're going to go and endanger the people you're coming in contact with because you're fucking selfish and can't stay home for a week or two? Fucking bitch.
She's not the smartest, I got to be honest with you.
She's not anything. She's not the smartest, the most empathetic, the fucking brightest, the considerate, most considerate. She's an asshole. And I don't really, it's people are like, oh, wow. It doesn't fucking shock me that that's something she would do.
Right.
She's a whole dick. Like, her whole vibe is a dick vibe. So, fuck that bitch. Oh, am I going to get black for that?
Didn't she say something stupid when she was running for vice president? I can't remember.
Didn't she say stupid? She's done a bunch of dumb shit. You know what's crazy is, like, her family is like literally like the Clampetts.
The Clampetts.
Yeah, she's total fucking redneck, fucking gun-toting weirdos, and cheating and adultery and teenage pregnancy.
Oh, that's what it was. Her daughter was like
knocked up.
Yeah, knocked out.
She was knocked up at like 14 or something. I don't know. You're messy.
Messy.
She a messy bitch.
Messy.
Yeah.
So, Illinois State Trooper teacher wife killed dead in murder-suicide. Of course, it's just the music. But Off-duty Illinois State Trooper fatally shot his wife before turning a gun on himself inside a car in Chicago on Monday afternoon. A 30-year-old trooper, Antonio Alvarez, and his 31-year-old spouse, Amanda Kalau, were found by a witness in the vehicle parked on the street of South Side of Chicago. And he pulled a gun on her. Both pair died in gunshot wound to the head, according to Cook County. Kalau was believed pre-K teacher in Chicago school system. Teacher union said, calling her death devastating loss. So,
I bet. That's just wild. Again, guns don't kill people. People kill people.
oh, they have 2 babies too.
Hmm.
I wonder what drove him. It doesn't say what drove him to. They have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. I'm trying to see.
Oh, wow.
I wonder what.
What a fucking coward. Like, how about just take your own life? Why are you going to take the mama away from the babies, too? So now you got 2 little babies that are going to grow up without either parent. Huh.
It doesn't say.
It's so mental illness is a real fucking thing, and it's so selfish that I don't know. He's a cop, so I kind of hold him a little bit higher of a standard to be able to receive the help that he needs.
Mm-hmm.
Or and you don't know what happened, why he snapped. You don't know if she cheated or she did something that made him snap, but something, and it's just sad.
Yeah, I'm trying to read to see if there was something else.
They
No.
probably don't have much information yet.
Sad.
Extremely.
The most winner on Jeopardy finally lost after 40 wins. Amy Schneider? Schneider? Is that how she says her name?
Mhm.
Reign officially is over. 40-game streak, which began November 17th, came to the end Wednesday. She lost to Rauna Tasma, a librarian from Chicago. So
She had a good run. It was historic.
$1.3 million in prizes.
I say that's a good run.
Yeah, she won 40 times. She only won 1.3 million.
I know.
Like, wait a minute, what? So Jennings is the most winner. He won 2.5. Man, I'm thinking these motherfuckers won 100 million.
I have an uncle who that's all we would watch. He would babysit us, and when we were younger, and literally that's all we would watch was Jeopardy. And he could have won it over and over and over again. I wonder why he never went on.
I don't even know how you get it.
It's a good question to ask.
I want to get on Wheel of not Wheel of Fortune, but one where Barker used to be. The one
Price is Right.
I want to be on that Price is Right.
I went to a Price is Right before.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
I want to go.
Yeah, you make T-shirts that say something funny on them. Like we made funny.
I don't grocery shop, right? So you would know.
I was hoping I got called. I didn't get called though.
They'd be like a pound of bacon. I don't know, fucking $2. No, wrong, cocksucker. So I don't know.
Oh my god.
So moving on to Texas.
Hey, wait! Before you move to Texas, you want to hear the shirt I made for the Price is Right?
Sure.
It said 1 in the Plinko, 2 in the Cinco.
Oh.
I thought it was funny. Okay, I just had to share that. You were creative.
Creative.
And I still didn't get called on.
No?
No. It was still fun though. Oh, Jerry Springer was our host. He was he filled in for Drew. It was really fucking fun. Next time they come to town, we need to go. Get a bunch of us to go. Okay, on to Texas.
On to Texas because all my exes live in Texas.
Hey. Everything's bigger there.
Yeah.
What if it's
all my exes live in Texas. Meet Mom. moms of color from Texas fighting book ban at their kids' school. So about a year ago, around in Round Rock, Texas, which is 20 minutes outside of Austin, complaints about a book on the history of racist ideas in the United States, leading to threats to remove it from school reading lists. But as a local school district debate, racism, anti-Semitism, and you should remain a part of its curriculum, thousands of parents, teaching community members to sign this petition. So basically, it's a couple black ladies wrote this book, and they want. I'm sorry, just responding to this. Nati was texting me. Yeah, I told her to check the front door because there was a delivery.
Weird.
I already put it in the refrigerator. Thanks, baby. I love you. You're awesome. So there's a couple women that want this book to stay on in the school's curriculum. It basically tells the view of from a black point of view of history. So, but Texas is Texas, very conservative country, gunslinging Trump country. So they don't want that. And there's a petition going around that they want to keep this book in the curriculum. So
I agree. I think it should be kept in the curriculum. I think that there's a lot of things that need to be spoke about, and continuing to lie about the things that happened is just you'll just keep continuing to pass along those lies in history and teaching people that the wrong things.
Do you think honestly this book shouldn't every race tell their point of view of history?
Absolutely.
Shouldn't Mexican Americans tell blacks? Even going as far as Chinese, building these railroads that connected this country in the 1800s, they were mistreated. Jewish people, on and on, right? So I think everyone should have some type of history that's introduced, because to be honest with you, when you read, I'm a big history buff, but when you took history class, they told you one point of narrative, right? They only told you, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, freed the slave, all of that stuff, right? All that basic stuff, our founding fathers. But, they gotta, they didn't mention that, George Washington had slaves, Abraham Lincoln had slaves. You know what I mean? They didn't. Right. Yeah, they need to tell the whole narrative,
the whole story.
I got to be honest with you. This country was the founding fathers were escaping religion persecution. They were escaping all these different things. But what they did is they came to this country and they just persecuted a different race, right? During the timeline of different times, right? So, in the early days, they persecuted the blacks, and then, you know what I mean? On and on and on and on. They took land from the Native Americans. There's so many injustice that our founding fathers did that they don't really talk about in school. And I think kids need to know this, right? They need to know the injustice that this government did, and they're still doing to this day, right? So
absolutely.
I think everybody should be able to tell the narrative of what and how their people were persecuted and enslaved and hung and crucified and shot. And my dad said in the 50s they should throw blacks in the Detroit River. Like, what the fuck? Like, really? That fucking really happened? So
white America.
You know what I mean? So, it's funny for a country that, they left England to find a different country because they wanted to do their own thing, but they started persecuting another race. So, and so many injustices this United States government have done. So,
I can't even really comment any more than what you've just said.
No, but I mean, and you go to the church and the Roman Catholic Church and on and on and on and on and you killed in the name of God, but it depends on whose God you killed in.
Right.
So it's so many people have been persecuted throughout the centuries, and I think this history should be taught. So
Absolutely. I think there definitely should be a point of view from each race and kept in the curriculum and taught, the truth, not just because of where you live. We're just going to keep it white America version. Mm-mm.
Right.
Well, I hope the petition comes through for them, and I hope that they win their battle. I really do.
So NASA may have found discovery evidence of ancient life on Mars. So I'm excited. I want to be the first person to go to Mars. So they found some ancient life on Mars, new study. So, hey, I'm all for it.
You already have your bags packed.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question, because I know we live in this big universe, right? And I know that there is other life forms. This place is
so much
other life forms. Is there a Superman? Maybe not. But do you think they're little green men, or do you think they look like us?
I think there's both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think from what I've read that they there's both, that they can kind of transform into us. I mean, you hear about all the stories about abductions or sightings or trying to abduct, or people who they go missing for years and then they come back to themselves and they're like, I've been gone for 5 fucking years, but I'm here.
The aliens look like E.T., or do you think they look like the Aliens movie?
No, they look like the basic alien shape that everybody, the
Big head, long fingers.
Yeah.
Big head, long fingers.
Oh yeah. They're like greenish brown, black figures. They're fast, they're swift. They do that little talk, right?
There you go.
Yeah. That was my impersonation of a right. Yeah.
So I brought this story to your attention the other day. A strange mother threw boiling water on her husband for sexual assault of her children.
Good for her.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Boiling, don't forget the secret ingredient. Boiling water with sugar.
Sugar.
Yeah. So I don't know if anybody listening has ever boiled sugar before, like candied yams or sugar for any kind of recipe you're cooking that, needs you to boil it down. It makes the water like corn syrup, right? It's thick and it makes it stick even more instead of being able to wipe it off, which I actually have had an experience of being burnt by it, and I only burned my index finger and my middle finger and part of my palm. And let me tell you, I have never experienced a pain like this in my entire life. I had 3rd-degree burns, and I did it on Thanksgiving, right? I couldn't even imagine being poured hot sugar water on my entire body. But if somebody molested my children, raped my kids, you best believe I would have been getting all of that on their entire body. So I know she was sentenced to, I believe, life in prison. But after 12 years, she's able to, she'll be up for parole. And I just don't think it's fair. I think that he fucking deserved it. They did say it's premeditated because she poured the sugar in there. Really? But think about it. People, I think they want to be so cut and dry with if you snap right then and there, then it's insanity. But I sometimes feel like the snap can go longer than just that moment.
Right.
I've been to my breaking point, and sometimes that snap goes for a couple days, right? I don't think there should be such a, oh my God.
You still there? I don't know where she went. I lost her. So let's move on. So yeah, basically the mom is facing life imprisonment because she poured sugar on her 80-year-old husband. She was 59. So there you go. So Carmelo Anthony allocation with a fan in Philly after he said he was called boy. Let me hit this.
Extends out and Harris sticks another.
Yeah, 2 big buckets here for Tobias Harris.
Tobias Harris, ex-Piston.
(94-78). Carmelo Anthony is getting into it with some fans here. Just behind our broadcast area. They've been riding him for about 4 straight possessions. Melo started looking in their direction. The conversation continued, and now Melo has had enough and began to move towards them. Leon Wood has stepped in with security. And there might be an ejection in play here.
Yeah, it looks like it is. Security's here. The referees are pointing at him.
So, like I said, he had to throw the fan out, Tori, because a fan kept taunting him and then called him boy. So
I don't know what happened with my phone. Can you hear me?
Hey, get that fuck out! You don't gotta go home. You don't gotta go home. Yeah, I can hear you. You don't gotta go home. You gotta get the fuck out of here. So, I gotta be honest with you, if I'm courtside and I'm paying $500 for a ticket, I'm being on my best behavior, right? I'm not saying dumb shit because they're gonna fucking eject you, and you probably didn't come along, right? You got a date, so you paid $1,000 to get fucking ejected, you dumb motherfucker. Like,
very drunk.
Yeah, but still, I don't know. I don't get it. So we'll move on to the NFL. Look, parking prices for the Rams and 49 gamers just fucking is insane. I told you some of these prices. $500 to be in nearby parking structure. I just like, oh my God, this is fucking nuts. So, hey, you know what? Number 9, Stafford, you better win this game, and you're going to go on to the Super Bowl. So, hats off to Matt Stafford.
I hope he wins. I hope he wins. I said I hope he wins. I know there's some salty Detroit fans that don't want him to win, or they're like, oh, he went there and now he won. But he gave it his all. He really tried when he was with the Lions, and so you can't be mad at that. Don't be salty. Wish him the best. As for the fucking parking, what? $500 just to fucking park? Like, man, it's really great with no lube. Like, fuck.
I'm taking an Uber. You dropping me off?
I know that's right. Drop me the fuck off. Drop me all the way off. That's just crazy.
His Stafford's wife had something wrong.
Brain.
So he might do this for his wife. Hey, I dedicate this Super Bowl championship to my wife.
I love Kelly Stafford. She's so great. Before he was really big, they came to visit the children in the hospital, and my son was having his appendix taken out, and I got to meet them years ago, and they are such an amazing powerhouse couple. Like, they just do so much for the city of Detroit, and they've done so much for the city that it'll always be home to them. But that's why I think I'm so rooting for him and her in general, because they genuinely have a love for Detroit. They weren't just there going through the motions, collecting a fucking check. No, they were there doing philanthropy work. They were working with the Children's Hospital. They were donating. They were doing soup kitchens. They were going out into the community and truly trying to make it a better place and their home. And they succeeded in doing that. So anybody that feels ill manner towards him, you look at yourself and really do the research on the person. I get it, you're a football fan, yada, 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 right? But when you look at what they do in a whole, and yes, I just saw your comment. Chris Osgood came as well to visit him. They really come through and do. They really are for the city, and I can wholeheartedly say that, and proudly, that our athletes,
they really hold out for us, right? Detroit has this magic about them. We get a bad rap, but it really is a magical place, and it's a great place to be. And so when you see people rooting for us, you know, us blue collared workers and just, you know, natives of the city and their children, I hope he wins. He deserves it. They all deserve it. Their entire family deserves it because she sacrificed too, right? She wasn't on that field, but she's his backbone and the kids. And I thought it was cute. Every game, if you ever follow them, she would have her daughters in Lions cheerleader outfits every time their daddy would go play, and they would be holding signs like for him, and it was just the cutest thing. Like, she's a whole vibe. So I'm really rooting for them to win. That would be the icing on the cake for sure.
That's awesome. We're going to say football. So Big Ben, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Big Ben, quarterback, retires after 18 seasons. I retired from football. I'm a truly grateful man. He's been in the Super Bowl 3 times, and he's won 2 out of the three times. So here's his thank you video to all the Pittsburgh Steeler fans. And his was on his Twitter. You know, I know he had some bumps in the road about sexually assaulting a woman and all that good stuff, but here you go.
With the 11th pick in the 2004 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Ben Roethlisberger, quarterback, University of Miami.
I don't know how to put into words what the game of football has meant to me and what a blessing it has been. While I know with confidence I have given my all to the game, I am overwhelmed with gratitude for all it has given me. A boy from Findlay, Ohio with NFL dreams, developed in Oxford at Miami University, blessed with the honor of 18 seasons as a Pittsburgh Steeler and a place to call home. The journey has been exhilarating, defined by relationships and fueled by a spirit of competition. Yet the time has come to clean up my locker, hang up my cleats, and continue to be all I can be to my wife and children. I retire from football, a truly grateful man. First and foremost, I need to thank the Lord for all the many blessings He has bestowed on me. To my wife Ashley, our children Benjamin, Bailey, and Bodie, you lift and inspire me and give my life purpose. I am so thankful for your love and support. I love you so much. To my parents and sister, every step of the way, your support and love has driven me to be the best and never give up. To the Rooney family, the Tull family, Coach Tomlin, Coach Cower, and all of the coaches who have poured into me, the incredible people on every level that make the Pittsburgh Steelers a special organization. Thank you for believing in me and allowing me to battle with you in pursuit of excellence. To all of my teammates and the endless friendships that I have gained, I appreciate you and our shared commitment to wearing the black and gold with pride and dignity. Putting that jersey on every Sunday with my brothers will always be one of the greatest joys of my life. To Steeler Nation, the best fans in all of sport, thank you for accepting and supporting me as your quarterback over the years. Football has been a gift, and I thank God for allowing me to play it, surrounding me with great people and protecting me through to the end. With love and honor.
What'd you think?
That was sad and happy at the same time. You know, there's a lot of emotion there. It's the end of, you know, an era, a chapter in his life. So I think that it's great that he's going to be able to spend more time with his kids and his wife. You know, I don't know their dynamics. I don't really follow them too much, but I mean, he paid his dues. He sacrificed his body for a sport and for the entertainment of others and his love for it. So good for him. But I know he's gonna be sad. I don't think this will be the end of him though. I think that he's gonna do some commentary or something. You know, they can't stay away from it for too long.
Yeah.
It's in their blood.
It's in her blood. NHL star Nathan McKinnon gushing blood all over ice after leaving him after he got hit. Check this out. I'm going to bring this on the screen.
Great. Let's check this out.
Check this out. Check this
Check out the gushy blood.
My brother-in-law is a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Angie, she listens to the show. She's a
My
Steelers.
best friend is diehard Steeler Nation. Okay. I probably got a terrible towel in her purse.
Taylor Hall on
And there's
McKinnon.
that.
Got him right in the head. Landeskog comes over after him. There is a penalty on the play. Both referees have their arm in the air as the athletic trainer comes out. Oh, no. Oh, boy. There is blood all over the ice from the face of Nathan McKinnon, and he is down. He's trying to
That's
get
what you
up
call a
this
fucking
waffle
hit.
on the ice.
Hey, the look on Taylor Hall's face when he came to the bench
clipped
to
him
my
back.
right was one of a player
him up.
that didn't either understand what he did or how it happened, or that it was something that was done on purpose. But clearly, he wasn't even prepared. When Landeskog came back to the bench here, he really shoved him into the boards pretty hard. He wasn't even braced for that. So, oh boy, great applause, obviously, for the Western Conference All-Star Nathan McKinnon.
Ooh, he's like a woozy.
He just got
Shake it
clipped
off, buddy. Shake it off.
on the scary side here
Here you go.
to start the game in
Watch
Colorado.
this.
Penalty on the ice. The player's under review.
Hello.
So it's actually the stick. So that's why Taylor Hall came over
Hello.
the bench saying, "Hey, there's nothing wrong with what I did right there."
Yeah.
The shaft of the stick of McKinnon was lodged between the shoulder
Oh,
and his body. So really, there's
Oh, and he did the split.
right there on this play. No intention, doesn't extend, doesn't
That was a clean hit.
intend to make head contact there.
Yeah, that wasn't his fault.
That wasn't his fault. So, hello.
Were they about to fight?
Yeah, they were gonna fight because they thought that he did it intentionally, but it was.
No, that was definitely, it was his own stick. Yeah, it wasn't done intentionally. It was nasty though. And he did like a little spinaroo slippity doo with his legs. Yeah, that was awful. Ugh, he's sore. It's definitely for sure sore. Hockey's not the same anymore. I was never like, I like hockey, right? I go to games. My whole family loved hockey. I wasn't like super fan, but I enjoyed the games. I enjoyed going, watching Red Wings. We're the shit growing up, but I really liked the fights. I know that's probably an opinion of a lot of people, but y'all were like fucking it's football players on skates with sticks hitting each other on ice. It's fucking brutal. Now I think it's kind of soft compared to how it used to be. They still be checking each other and going hard. The whole sport itself is pretty intense.
Right.
But
So
there's not as much blood on the ice. I know it sounds fucked up, but
Blood. So I was thinking about this the other day, and I know my sister, she's watching and she's listening because she's at work. But we're talking about like the pandemic and people losing it. And I was thinking about the movie Falling Down, and every time I see this movie, I think of my sister because there's always somebody like cutting her off, or she's like and she's, fuck you, motherfucker, you cut me off. And you remember that movie Falling Down? She definitely reminds me of
Falling Down. What was that?
That was with Michael Douglas. Let me just play this. I was thinking about that the other day, and I was scrolling because I was like, man,
Snaps. Yeah.
We stopped serving breakfast.
I know you stopped serving breakfast, Rick. Sheila told me you stopped serving breakfast. Why am I calling you by your first names? I don't even know who you are. I still call my boss Mister. I worked for him for 7.5 years, but I walk in here all of a sudden, total stranger. I'm calling you Rick and Sheila like we're in some kind of AA meeting. I don't want to be your buddy, Rick. I just want a little breakfast.
Well, you can call me Miss Folsom if you want.
Sheila, we stopped serving breakfast at 11:30.
Rick, have you ever heard the expression, the customer is always right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, here I am with the customer.
That's not our policy. You have to order something from the lunch menu.
I don't want lunch. I want breakfast.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm really sorry.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm really sorry too.
Calm down. Just calm down, everybody.
I'm surprised there's not more people that have snapped during that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Because that's the worst thing. I've been in the McDonald's aisle where they're like, "Oh, we stopped serving breakfast," and I'm like, "It's 1 minute after you stop."
Yeah, 10:01.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I know you got some hash browns back there, Sharon. Turn around and go get me a fucking sausage patty. Go in the freezer, do whatever you got to do. Magically pull it out of your bra. I don't care how you get it, or wrap it up and put it in a bag. But, yeah, no. There's that scene reminds me of this one time I almost snapped. I didn't have a gun, but I had a really bad day, right? Yeah, true story. I had a bad week. Like, there was just things coming left and right fucking hitting me, right? This happened, that happened, this didn't happen, this didn't go as planned. I was fighting like insurance companies for my son for some like medical care that was just common that should have been not denied. And I was just going through it, and I had to work that night. And I went into work, and I don't bring my stuff to work with me. Nobody knows what you're going through, and well, me at least. So I'm there, and my boss's wife is kind of a cunt bag, right? So she comes in.
Cunty.
Yes, cunty. She's very cunty. So she comes in, and she doesn't really have any authority over me. She's that cunty boss's wife who, like, I worked at a bar, and she'd take a couple shots and think she was bossing people around. Listen, he didn't even fucking like her, right? It was just cheaper to be married to her than to divorce her with all of his assets. So she comes in, and there had been a customer that asked me for some chili prior to her coming in. And I said, "I'm sorry, we're out of it. Like, that's not my job. I don't prepare food there. We didn't have a cook at the time. I was just, bartending." And I said, "I'm sorry, we don't have any." And this is a customer who is a regular. So I joke with him. I said, "Oh, 7-Eleven across the street, I heard, has chili," right? So what does he do? He goes across the street and gets himself a chili dog and comes back. Well, she's seen him, and she comes into me, and instantly she's like, has this attitude with me, and she calls me rudely in front of the entire bar. And before she did that, she had said to me, "Pull this, like this, I don't know, it was like a frozen roll, like the hamburger chili rolls, but it was big. It looked like a club, like literally looked like a baseball bat, right?" And she pulled it out, and she's like, "You should get some fucking common sense," or she said something to me, and I instantly blacked out. And I hear buzzing in my ear. The entire bar sees me, and I picked up this chili roll, and I almost hit her with a frozen chili roll. I was holding it, and I kid you not, I'm like, "Who the fuck do you think you're talking to?" And I turned around to make sure there was nobody behind me, and I was holding it like, "I'm going to murder you with this chili." I blacked out completely. So I resonate with that whole scene, because listen, you don't know what somebody's fucking breaking point is. I almost killed somebody with a roll of fucking chili. Could you imagine if I would have done that? And I was totally committed to it. I was ready she was going to get beat like she was the insurance company, and everything else that happened to me that week, I was going to fuck her up with a chili roll. She looked so scared. She fucking turned around and went into the office and locked the door. Psycho. I fucking flipped psycho with chili.
She was very cunty. She was a cuntosaurus.
The whole bar was like, oh.
She was a cuntosaurus?
Yeah, huge cuntosaurus. She was like 4'11", but she had 6'2" cunt energy. And she almost died by a frozen roll of chili. I snapped. snapped completely.
Snapped it. Yeah.
I came to and I'm like, and I dropped the roll. I'm like, motherfuck, did I almost just kill her with this? Like, fuck.
Did I just her with the roll of chili?
Yeah, that would have been so embarrassing in the news.
Women gets beat with a fucking roll of chili. All right, so that's all I got. The last topic is the feature of the day. Can you stay faithful in a relationship even if your significant other doesn't satisfy you sexually, but he's great everywhere else or everything else? You go ahead and tell me what you think.
I think this goes different for men and women. I know it's going to sound biased, but I think that there's a lot of women that stay faithful in relationships and their husbands aren't sexually satisfying them or giving them the attention and affection that they need. But financially, they do well and, they get along and they're just kind of just melancholy, right? It's even, there's no really arguing or anything. They do their part and all of that and they deal with it. So can people stay faithful if they're not being sexually satisfied and they're great at everything else? Absolutely. I think that that's a thing. I think that it's harder for men. I think men are visual creatures. They like to, they need that visual stimulation. And if their woman isn't being affectionate or loving or sexy or, slipping a nip here and there or whatever you want to call it, I think that they tend to wander, right? Their woman, they do. I've seen it a million times. She cooks, she cleans, she takes care of the kids, laundry, rolls the chonies. I mean, she does it all, right? But I think men tend to stray more than women in situations like that. It's just out of experience and seeing. So that's my answer. I think that, yes, you can, but I think it's less likely for a man to stay faithful in a relationship than a woman when everything else is on point, except for the sex.
Okay. So here is what I found. When your partner doesn't meet your needs, what can you do? Key points. Even if your partner is in a relationship, believes they're getting insufficient sex, committing adultery just makes it worse. Committing adultery just makes it worse. Adultery brings a third person into wasn't the problem between two partners, contributing to the relationship breakup. After one partner expresses they're not getting what they need from relationships, sometimes need to change, but it's eventually the decision. So basically, they say you complicate things if you step out of the relationship. And I'm going to speak firsthand. Definitely, my ex-wife was great at certain things, but I expressed my views of things that were bothering me sexually, this and that. And I don't think it fell on deaf ears, right? Because I ended up stepping out of the marriage and I ended up cheating on her and all that good stuff. We went to counseling, but it didn't really make a difference. So sometimes it's difficult to be in a relationship if that person is doing everything but not satisfying you. That might be different. There were certain things in my marriage that she was doing that really made me feel like, hey, maybe I need to step out. Not just sexually, but maybe wasn't the best housekeeper or wasn't this or that. So I think
it was more of a combined thing because it wasn't that she was great at everything else except for that.
Yeah, it was a stack of things.
I think if somebody was great at it all, I think it's easier to dismiss certain things. Maybe they have a sexual issue. Maybe they can't get hard. Maybe they can't orgasm. Maybe they just are getting older and they just don't feel like it.
Yeah, because I've been in a relationship where a girl was, she was raped and it was difficult. Like she was good at certain things, but when it came to intimacy and in the bedroom, it was, you know what I mean? Like
awkward. Yeah, it was awkward for her.
Right. It's difficult, right? She's like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to do all the things that you want me to do, but you know what I mean? Like, I got some things going on in my head. So,
yeah.
So there's different instances. I think if a woman is doing all the things right and she tries, I think you could stay faithful. But if she's doing some of the things and not trying, then then you kind of want to, you probably will step out. So that's the biggest thing is I think if a woman is doing all the things and she tries, like she gives it the old college try, maybe sucks it, but not sucks it the best. You know what I mean? So maybe she doesn't spit on it. Maybe she doesn't swallow. I don't know. But she doesn't do all the things, right? Like, yeah, she's like, I suck it, but my mouth hurts after 5 minutes. Like, maybe she doesn't, you know what I mean? So maybe that you're like, hey, you know what? You did all right. Yeah, you know
what, Champ? You tried, Champ. You tried.
You tried, but it's okay. You know what I mean? But
the rest of the house is clean. And we had dinner tonight. You tried. You tried.
You tried. Yeah. I don't like what comes out. Well, a tuna sandwich is not coming out of there, so but
Ew. No, I could never look at tuna again the same.
So there's my thoughts. That's all I got. Who do we got coming up? We got a realtor coming up on the 2nd. It is Wendy. She is a local real estate agent. She's going to be actually advertised on the podcast. So I'm excited. That's all I got for today. Let me put, hey, you know what? This show is not free as much as we put on it free, but it is not free. So there is my Cash App. I'm going to put Tori's Cash App. If you want to sprinkle Tori with, $1, $100.
Sprinkle me with some love.
Yeah, there you go.
Sprinkle me with some love.
Yeah.
It was my sprinkle dance. Did you like my sprinkle dance?
Sprinkle dance. Yes. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. If you know what? Here's my link tree. If you need to go to my link tree, it has all the links to all the different stuff. You can subscribe to the podcast. You can subscribe to everything in there. So there you go. That's all I got. You got anything, Tori?
No, that's it. I think that's a wrap. I think we've covered it all. Just again, be kind to one another.
Be kind to one another. Yeah, make sure you guys are always, you got new, I think there was a new variant to COVID. So make sure you guys are always washing your hands, wearing a mask, and always washing your ass. And let me play this video, then I'm out. And you guys have a safe and a pleasant Saturday. So here you go. Stay safe. You guys be careful. And I'm out. You can follow me everywhere.